If you're in the info or coaching industry, then you probably realize that you have so many bloody contacts. Like, you might have a massive email list, you might have a massive CRM, and yet the percentage of these people who are actually in your CRM in comparison to the people who've actually bought from you is quite a bit. And obviously it is going to be quite a bit. Obviously, you're never going to convert every lead that comes in. But in this video, I want to show you the best re-engagement strategy backed by data to book more calls and make more sales from existing leads that you already have in your CRM. So leads that you've paid for, leads that you've already got from lead magnets or whatever. What is the best way to get them back engaged with your products? And I'm going to show you exactly that in this video today. Oh yeah, boys. So the best re-engagement strategy to book more calls and make more sales from your existing leads. If you don't know who I am, my name is Charlie McCormack. I'm the founder and director of Webinar Wizards, and I also have a podcast called Progressors Network. I'm running done for you live webinar and like challenge funnels for clients in the info and coaching and consulting space, right? So typically what will happen when you get a new lead in your info, coaching, or consulting business, and this is what most people fail to consider, right? So, step one, you get the lead. Bang, cost per lead, great. This will be paid ads, organic content, data capture will come from a VSL opt-in, a lead magnet, accepting them into a school community, whatever it is. You've got someone's data, great stuff. And then what will you do? Your setters will do their job, right? For their 5% or whatever you give them and their £250 base a month. If your systems are dialed, you're gonna be in touch with that person as fast as you possibly can via SMS, WhatsApp automations, or just a good old dial. And then that person will either book in a call or they won't, right? The person will either respond and get booked in, or they won't. So let's say that for every 10 leads that come in, 6 of them get booked in for a call, right? Which is pretty good. Let's say every 10 leads, we book 6 of them in for a call. That's pretty good rates, right? So now that those 6 people are booked in, let's say you have an insane show rate of no, not an insane show rate, sorry, just a good show rate, 70, 80% pre-call nurture, all that good stuff, right? But that means that 4 out of the 6 people who were booked in will actually show up. And let's say you got a good close rate of 50%. You got some good closers, right? And that's 2 closers, right? Which is not terrible at all, right? 2 closers could be a nice bit of revenue for you. Let's say you're charging 10K. You could be charging 10K for your offer. That's 20K in revenue. That's almost what the average person gets paid in the UK in a year. It's pretty goddamn good. But now what are we going to do, right? Because we now have 8 people's details who gave us their details, and none of them closed. And we don't want to waste 80% of the leads that you get. Like, think about the amount of time that it took you to build your lead magnet. Think about all the time that it took you to fucking film, edit, script your ad, and write your copy for your reel or your tweet or whatever. And you're just going to let them go. You're going to let 80% of the people go. This is what most people do to try and solve this problem. What they will do is they will follow the conventional advice, and you will probably do some, if not all, of the following things. You will run some good old retargeting ads to them, like bread and butter, really great strategy, right? You probably maybe do that if you don't run ads, whatever, right? You will send them an infinite email sequence. You might have a copywriter working for you, writing you 3 emails a week, right? If people still even fucking do that, you might be sending them 3 emails a week, getting them to book a call, showing them case studies and your copywriter in there, problem, agitate, solution, and getting people to book a call and whatever, right? Or you will have setters calling them all the time. Setter, every day, bang, 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 right? Setters calling them until they're blocked or until they tell them to fuck off, right? You might be doing 1, if not all of them, right? But the problem is, the people who didn't answer in the first place is because people don't like being called. If someone calls me right now, my phone is turned on, right? I've got some notifications on my phone. If someone called me right now and it was a number and it said +44 and it's from Manchester or something, and I know that number or I know I've opted in for something, I am simply just not going to answer the phone because I know it's them, right? And so that's for the people who opted in and then just never got in touch with you, right? But the people who no-showed for the call or didn't close are probably not going to want to go on the phone with you again, right? Because your closer has probably done whatever they could and could have even potentially put them off sales calls for the rest of their life, right? If someone wanted to book a call with you, they would. That is the overarching theme of what I'm trying to get at here. If people wanted to book a call with you, they would book a call with you. Your prospects are not stupid. If they really thought, right, I want to book a call with this person again, they would simply find your calendar link, right? They're not stupid. They are like human. If they're smart enough to have the money to invest in your program and get results, they probably have that acumen to be able to book a call. So what you don't need to do is spam them with 3 emails a week telling them that their life is going to end if they don't book a call. So if you want to get someone to a point where they are willing and able to exchange money with you, then you probably need to build more trust with them, both in yourself and in your offer, right? Because there's a reason they didn't get on the phone with you last time, or that they didn't close last time. You need to show them more about what your offer does and proof that it has actually worked for people like them. And then what you need to do is give them something that is actually worth their time and their engagement, right? Because being on a sales call, for them, it's not worth their time and it's not worth their engagement. They do not want to be on a sales call unless they know they're gonna pay. And I'm telling you that the best way to do this is through a webinar. Now, not just any webinar, it has to be a live webinar. If you want to get people to close, if you want to get people as close to being on the phone as they possibly can be without actually having to get them on the phone, then you get them on a webinar, right? Here's some evidence that this works well, right? I couldn't do the full thing that I wanted to do with this because I reached my maximum Claude capacity, which is really fucking annoying. But basically what I did is I downloaded the CSV files from webinars that we have done for a client on a coaching offer, and we have put them into Claude and asked it to tell us how many people have actually turned up to multiple webinars. Now, the reason we did this is because we tag all of our contacts, like where they come from, and around 30% of all of the signups that we get from webinars are people who already have tags rather than new leads from like an organic campaign. So as you can see here, we had 155 individual people, right? Almost 10% of everyone who had ever attended a webinar attended multiple webinars. And that wasn't just them attending just webinars. 30% of the signups that we get are people who've already watched a video sales letter or already opted in for a lead magnet. So 30% of the room that we fill every single time is people who we already had in our CRM, not new people. So why does this work so well, right? And I just kind of flinged off some reasons here. If you want to convert the leads who have ignored you before, they've ghosted your sales calls, or you didn't close them, right? You need to understand the fundamental psychological differences between traditional follow-up and webinar-based re-engagement, right? So in order to get people back into a buying state and not in like a fearful state because your closers probably attacked them on the phone and they are absolutely terrified of you, we need to give them a low pressure environment, right? So rather than them having to get on one-on-one with the sales rep, they can just join with their little name. They don't have to put their camera on among a bunch of others so they don't feel singled out, right? We just need to give them something to be like, yeah, you can come along. Don't worry. We're not going to hustle you. And then once they are actually on there, here is where we engage them. So when someone actually attends the webinar, so getting them to register is just one thing, but getting them to actually attend, that means that whatever they were doing that night, they've consciously chosen not to do it. It means they've put it in their calendar. It means that they were sat down at their desk or on their phone or in their office or wherever they are, sat waiting for your webinar, right? That is almost like them self-selecting to engage with you, right? And then once they're actually there, we get 60 to 90 minutes of continuous exposure, right, to them to rebuild that trust with you, the offer owner, not a closer, not a setter or whatever, right? And you also have social proof in real time. We're seeing like everyone else who's there. You have all the social proof on the slides and everything. You position yourself as a helpful expert rather than being like pushy, right? And they also probably trust the guru. So if you're the offer owner and you're watching this, or you're the growth operator, the offer owner is the person that they trust, right? They don't know the closer. They don't know the setter. All they know is the offer owner. They know the offer owner because they've watched the offer owner on Instagram. They've watched them on YouTube. They've watched them on TikTok. They've liked their tweets. They follow them on LinkedIn, whatever it is. They trust the guru, right? So the trust is going to be way higher with the guru presenting way more than your high ticket closer, which I put here. You manage to build some reciprocity with them. You can objection handle at scale, and you can pitch them and they can actually buy something from you without having to get on the phone with Andy Elliott again, right? You have already paid for these leads, right? So you've got to remember that the cost of acquisition for these leads is zero because you already have them. You could probably fill a webinar room with leads that you already have, and you could still spin up like 10, 20K plus, literally just from these people alone, right? Because everyone in your CRM is a sunk cost, right? You've already invested either time or money into them, right? So when you convert them through a webinar, your cost per acquisition goes to zero, though these people are free. So instead of paying for new leads through ads or nurture or content or more setters or outbound or whatever, cold email, fucking whatever, right? You're maximizing the return on the investment of leads that you already own, right? So, like, to put it in perspective a bit, you could spend $5K on ads, right? And get 500 new leads, right? $10 a lead is, it's not terrible. Like, if it's a B2C offer, you probably want it to be a bit lower. Or you run a webinar and you manage to get 2,000 people in your CRM on there, and all you had to pay for was the cost of email and SMS credits and go high level, right? If both of them convert at the same rate, and this will probably convert higher because they're already familiar with you and they're not cold, then that's just pure profit for you. So it's the best re-engagement strategy, and you don't even need a landing page or something like this. You just need a Zoom or a Webinar Jam registration form. Just email it to the people, little link, build a presentation, and you're off to the races. So that's why I believe that webinars are the best campaign. Now, if you actually want me to show you how to do the webinar, then I made a 90-minute free training, or you can join my free newsletter, and I will give you way more than I give you in this video. And you'll also get my script, my prompt pack, and all the kind of lead magnets and stuff that I give you to encourage you to work with me on your webinar campaigns. But anyway, I hope you do something useful with this information, because it works really well and you can make a lot of money, right? No more spending money on ads, no more spending money on acquisition, spend some money on email and SMS, get a little registration form going, and spin yourself up 10, 20K easily from people who already are in your CRM. Love you lots. See you in the next video. Subscribe, join the newsletter. Bye-bye.